Worship is highly collaborative, and this morning I am joined by our worship leader, Reverend Laura Young.
Let us worship.
We would like to extend an especially warm welcome to those who are here for the first time. So glad that you are here. Lori is dropping our connection card in the chat box if you'd like to complete that and connect to our community. This caring, supportive community has a pastoral care committee who works closely with our minister to provide support, care, and a listening ear. Please fill out the pastoral care card being dropped in the chat box if you would like the care team or Reverend Laura to reach out to you. There's also a link on our website. Our online services are intergenerational, and we have a religious exploration program that is resuming activities for all age levels. Those of you who are signed up should have received emails from both our DRE, Rob Carlson, and our assistant DRE, Grace Burns. If you are new to the program or just didn't receive those emails, please reach out to Rob. His contact info should appear in the chat as well. There's a lot happening here at SVUS, and the Happenings weekly newsletter is a concise, up-to-the-minute way to stay connected. Lori Quigley's email is now in the chat box if you'd like to reach out to her to receive Happenings. We are also active on Facebook and have an event calendar on our website. So many ways to get connected. A couple of announcements. Our outdoor movie night on Saturday is Saturday, October 9th. So grab your lawn chair or camping chair and a blanket because it'll get cool again. And come join us for a family movie night in the backyard at South Valley. We'll be viewing the classic Rob Reiner favorite, The Princess Bride. It is rated PG. Popcorn, hot cocoa, and cider will be provided. Hope to see you all there. We plan to return to indoor, in-person worship in the South Valley Sanctuary in the next few weeks. Please watch our Happenings newsletter, website, and community listserv for details. Proof of vaccination will be required and capacity will be limited, so please RSVP and bring your vaccination card if you have not already uploaded it through Breeze or through another method. We will now take a moment to share the warmth of community. We will say hello to one another and then say our chalice lighting words together. They will be in the chat box. If you have a candle or chalice, please light it as we say those words in just a few moments. But first, please unmute yourselves as you wish and greet one another verbally or in the chat box.
All right, so they're going to do a little chaos
Good
here.
morning.
Say hello to each
Hi,
other.
Colin. Thank you for that beautiful banner yesterday. That was really nice. Loved it.
Everybody else did too.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, Dana.
Hi.
That was fun.
Never mind, just a second.
It's a heavy dog to hold for very long.
Hi.
Okay. I am pleased to welcome the high school youth group who will be doing our chalice lighting this morning. And Smokey. And Smokey. And smoking the basket down.
That thing doesn't work very well, so you might have to shake it a few times.
So let us light our chalices. We invite you to stand in body, mind, or spirit as we say our chalice lighting words and use our actions if you want. So please join me now. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, for the light of truth, for the
energy of action.
Thank you. And thank you, Smokey.
Good morning. I'm Sarah Featherstone, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees here at South Valley Unitarian Universal Society. Just a minute, let me throw this ball for this puppy of mine. My pronouns are she and her. Come, whoever you are welcome here. No matter your age, your size, the color of your eyes, you are welcome here. Your hair, your skin, you're welcome here. No matter your gender, whom you love, how you speak, or whatever your abilities, you are welcome here. You are welcome here whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears in your eyes, you are welcome here. No matter what you've experienced in the past, no matter what awaits you in the future, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God all of the time or some of the time or none of the time, you are welcome here. This is a community of open minds, loving hearts, and willing hands. You are welcome here at South Valley Unitarian Universalist Society.
I am the Reverend Laura Young, and my pronouns are she and her. It is good to be together. However it is that we find one another this morning, however we find ourselves in this unprecedented, tumultuous time in which it seems that plans never quite stick. It is good to see all of you on Zoom, and I am looking so forward to seeing you in our sanctuary very soon. This morning, we have a very special service. It is the blessing of the animals. It is a well-honored and loved tradition here at South Valley and in Unitarian Universalist congregations across the United States, often celebrated at this time of year around the Saint's Day of St. Francis of Assisi, who was the patron saint of animals. I invite you, as we settle into this time of worship, to set aside the heaviness that is in our world right now for just a moment, and to allow your creatureliness, that soft animal body, as Mary Oliver often speaks of, to just be here and to be present in this moment for just a moment. Our call to worship is written by Reverend Gary Kowalski, and it's called The State of Bliss. And I've accepted just a small bit for us as we settle into that soft animal body. He writes, "Don't animals teach us about blessing, about joy? They remind us to be satisfied with what we have. Not one of them is worried about the stock market. Not one of them wants to run for Congress or govern the animal kingdom. None brags that their religion is better than their neighbors. Each is satisfied with just a little: fresh water, healthy food, and enough room to nest or den. None needs a passport or travel documents or immigration papers because they don't live in a state like Arizona or Texas that cares about such things. They live rather in a state of bliss." And I invite you, however you are finding yourself today, to open your heart and see where that bliss might arise from you. If you have your furry one close by, I hope that you will bring them onto camera in a little bit for our blessing of the animals. Let us sing with one another. Our opening hymn this morning is number 1066, and the lyrics will be in the chat box. John Allen has recorded us singing of it for us. It's "Oh Brother Sun," and it's words written by St. Francis of Assisi. Colin will share his screen now with that video.
Sun, you bring us light, all shine. near the edge of Farmer Hernandez's. Good morning, my friends. I'm looking forward to sharing a story with you this morning by the Reverend Laura Kim Joyner. Once upon a time, there was a family of rabbits who lived in a hole in the ground near the edge of Farmer Hernandez's chili pepper field. One day, one of the young bunnies stuck his nose out of the hole for the first time, and a gust of wind blew right into his face, and he sneezed. Achoo! His parents, who were eating clover nearby, said, "Well, what do you think they said?" That's right, they said, "Bless you." They might have said salud because they were bilingual bunnies. The bunny asked his parents what bless you means. And they said, "It means that we love you and we wish for you to always be healthy and safe." The young bunnies liked this so much that whenever someone sneezed or had a bee chasing them or got lost and were found, all of the baby bunnies would say, "Bless you." They thought this was a great game to do, and it made them feel loved. Well, one day Farmer Hernandez was out on his tractor plowing under his chilies. He got closer and closer, and the young bunnies hunkered down in their hole, but finally the ground shook so much that they jumped out and ran as fast as they could in all directions, zigging and zagging as bunnies do. And one bunny, after stopping, saw that the farmer had a funny look on his face, the kind of look you have when you have been hurt or have been crying. Without thinking, the bunny said, "Bless you." Now, I don't know if that farmer actually heard the little bunny. I mean, how could he have heard it over the sound of the tractor engine? But a really good "bless you" can carry an awful long way. Farmer Hernandez got a puzzled look on his face, as if he had heard the bunny, and stopped the tractor. He looked around the field, and he caught sight of the bunny. He went over to it, who was still very still and quiet and was trying not to be seen. Quickly, the farmer threw his hat over the bunny to catch her, and then he reached down and scooped up the little bunny in his hat and held her close to his heart. He leaned his face against the soft bunny fur, and then the farmer began to cry and cry, because the last time he had touched another creature was when his wife was alive. Since his wife had passed away last year, he hadn't spoken to anyone, and no one came to see him, and no one had held him, and he had held no one, until he picked up this bunny. Knowing that where there is one bunny, there are many, the farmer walked all around the field until he had a hat full of baby bunnies and found their old rabbit hole and put the baby bunnies in it. He waited there, standing guard over the baby bunnies until the parents came back. And while he sat next to the bunnies, watching their soft ears flop and their little noses twitch, and hearing their soft whispers of "bless you," he began to feel less sad and even a little bit happy. After he saw the parent rabbits approaching, Farmer Hernandez got up to leave. He looked down on all the bunnies before he left, and he said, "Thank you for blessing my life." As he turned and walked away, the bunny family said to him, "Bless you." And he heard them that day and for all the rest of the days of his life, and he always felt loved. And so, friends, you too are like one of these bunnies. You yourself can bless people and animals. You can be a blessing in their lives, and they can be a blessing to you as well. You can bless people and animals in your own ways by thanking them, smiling at them, remembering them, showing them love, and being with them. And in this way, your life is a blessing to them, and you help others feel loved, such as you do by being here with all of us today. So bless you for coming, and bless you always.
This community, our church, and its many ministries are only made possible with the gifts you give of your time, your talent, and your treasure. Many of you pledge monthly to support our work, and for this, we are grateful. Your gifts help ensure that we are able to live our values of love and justice in the outside world. We use Breeze to collect Sunday offerings online, and the link is in the chat box now. Part of our ministry at South Valley includes sharing our Sunday worship offerings with a charitable organization that aligns with our principles and our values. Your gift today will support the work of South Valley and Utah Refugee Connection. The mission of Utah Refugee Connection is to create meaningful connections between refugees, the community, and public and private organizations which support refugees in developing self-sufficient and fulfilling lives. There are approximately 65,000 refugees living in Utah. They come from over 40 countries and speak over 20 languages. Utah is one of 19 states that are welcoming refugees from Afghanistan over the coming weeks. Utah Refugee Connection will be helping with that effort. Please give generously. Lori is putting the offering words in the chat box now, so if you will please join with me in saying them. We are this church. We are its hands, its heart, and its voice. Together we share in the wealth of this community and sustain it with our gifts.
For all we have received and all we have found the courage to give, may we be truly grateful. May these gifts be a blessing to South Valley and to the Utah Refugee Connection. At this time, the gathered congregation is invited to participate in our ritual of sharing joys and sorrows. We'll be using our chat box, and I invite you at this time, if you have a joy or a sorrow on your heart, to enter that into the chat box. And as you enter them in, I will read them out into our communal space, and Brian will put a stone in the water in the bowl he has at home in order to hold space for that. And at the end, we'll add one additional stone to represent those joys and sorrows which remain unspoken. I invite you now to join me in a time of reflection, meditation, or prayer. These words were written by Joanna Macy, that matriarch of environmental justice, who seeks to lead the way to a better and brighter future. She calls us to hear our fellow creatures with these words. And I offer them in this way. Spirit of life, we hear you, and our fellow creatures, we hear you as well. We know that we are wrecking this world, and we are afraid. We know that what we have unleashed has so much momentum now. We don't know how we are going to turn it around. Fellow creatures, do not leave us alone. We need you. You need us too for your own survival. And we ask for your wisdom and your guidance. Are there powers that you can share with us? Here are their responses. I, lichen, work slowly, so very, very slowly. And time is my friend. That is what I give you. Patience for the long haul and perseverance. From the trout. It is a dark time. As a deep diving trout, I offer you my fearlessness of the dark. I, lion, give you my roar, the voice to speak out and to be heard. And I am caterpillar. The leaves I eat taste bitter now, but dimly I sense a great change is coming. What I offer you, humans, is my willingness to dissolve and transform. I do that without knowing what the end result will be. So I share with you my courage too. May these words of wisdom be a balm on your weary heart. And may you find the courage, the fearlessness, the patience, and the ability to dissolve and transform, ever ready when you need it as that skillfulness. Blessings be, and amen. I invite you now into a moment of silent meditation. Blessed be, and amen. And now it is time to bless the animals. If you have your animal close by, I invite you to gather them up and close and get them on screen. I will say the blessing just briefly. I have one animal here in the sanctuary with me, Smokey, and I have the youth here as well. So, all right, let me bring Smokey close, and I will at least bless Smokey, and then that blessing will flow out. It's a big dog here. Okay. Hello, Smokey. From our hearts and minds into our hands, may blessings flow. Around and around the circle of friends, may blessings flow. Around and around our beloved earth, may blessings flow. For all beings, especially Smokey here in the sanctuary, may all blessings flow. And at this time, if you have your animal on screen, perhaps Colin, you can put us all to gallery mode so everyone can see everyone's animals. Just for a moment there. And if you have an animal that is no longer part of your life, I encourage you to put their name in the chat box, and we will read out their names and just know that they are with us as well here. So just like that, put your name of your animal. We remember Ewan, Murphy, Molly, Seamus, and Pandora, and Layla. And my childhood cat was named Herbert. What other names of animals do you all have that you'd like to remember?
Bob.
Bob. Excellent. We have Roxy and Roscoe and Sarah. Roxy and Roscoe and Sarah and Bamboo and Thor and Duke and Aisha and Freya and Jackson. And let's see. Ralph Memphis and Tennessee Blues. Oh, the full name of the beloved pug, Ralph Memphis, Tennessee Blues. And Bamboo. Caramel and Twinkle and Callie and Chloe and Midnight. All of these beloved pets and animals are here with us in spirit, in our hearts, and knowing that they were truly part of us, changing us and shifting us in way. We also remember Robin and Ruby. I remember Macduff. And we name all of these beloved creatures and hold them close in our memory, invoking them and inviting them to play with us today. Winky the parakeet should not be forgotten either. And Teddy and Trevor. And Tashi. And I invite you just to take a moment now, just to look around the Zoom room and to wave to each other and point to one another's dogs. I see lots of dogs. And a concern for a cat named Parker who's gone missing right now. Just take a look in that Zoom room and wave those little paws of those furry creatures. Or maybe they're not furry creatures. I can't see all of them. Maybe there are some snakes and iguanas out there. What a blessing these animals are. Thank you very much to all of our youth for being here today. Thank you. And so I just want to share with you just a short story of how an animal's kindness changed me for the better. Some of you who may have seen my Facebook profile, one of my catchphrase on there is kindness is the only thing that matters. And while that has been a wide and extended practice in my life for many years, some of the seeds of that practice and that commitment come from an animal relationship I had with a dog named Layla. And Layla came into my life, my family's life, in October of 2014. It was a Sunday morning, and I awoke with a strong sense that I was supposed to go and look at dogs. We'd been talking about getting a dog for quite some time and had a pretty good idea of what we wanted. We'd even been to the shelter the month prior to look, but hadn't really followed up since then. So it was a bit surprising that morning when I woke with this strong sense. It was so strong and it did not go away. All through church that morning and over lunch, the feeling, it's like a pulling at my heart, a sense that I had to go over to my local mall where the shelter had a weekend adoption center set up and take a look. And being that these sorts of feelings are relatively rare in my life, I decided that my kids and I should honor it and head on over there. When we walked up to the storefront, we met a few dogs on leash outside and then proceeded inside. First, we passed a small enclosure with several smallish dogs, yipping wildly and with great excitement. They were very cute. But we knew we wanted a medium to large dog, so we didn't pause long there. We headed a little further back, and when we got to the back of the room, there was this large red and white dog, medium size with floppy ears, sitting quietly with a volunteer. We read her little name tag. It said Layla, and Layla was a pointer pit bull mix, said good for cats and kids, and knew some tricks and was potentially a good fit for a family that was around during the day. That met our requirements, and so we asked to have her brought out to meet us. And Layla quietly walked out and sat next to my children and allowed us to pet her. And my kids started petting her and quietly remarked at how soft her ears were and how warm her gaze was. And that feeling came upon my heart again, that pulling sensation. Perhaps you have felt it as well from time to time. Perhaps it was a glimpse at something that was to come, or perhaps it was just a sense that this was the right choice in this moment. However it felt that day to me, we decided to follow that feeling. My kids felt it. The volunteer at the shelter felt it. This was our dog. She needed us, and we needed her. Now, I'll tell you, I'd never owned a dog before. I was rather nervous about this project, and I'd always been a cat person. But in that moment, I became a Layla person, because this dog would transform my life for the better, and I hadn't even been looking for that. When we met Layla, it was love at first sight. She was and still is one of the most wonderful dogs that I have ever met. She was unfailingly kind and affectionate with everyone she met, and she was almost always smiling. I wasn't aware that dogs could smile until I met Layla. And in the case of Layla, smiling was her first response to most things. Unfortunately, we didn't know that much about Layla when she came to us. We knew she had had a reputation for escaping, but little else. And as we had 8-foot fences and gates in our backyard, we didn't worry over much about that. Everything went really well at first. Layla was loving and well-trained and happy to go with us everywhere. She liked her crate, and she didn't even destroy things around the house when we were away. And we couldn't believe our luck. Who would have given up such a precious dog? And then the escaping started. She started escaping a lot. First, it was just over the fence into the neighbor's backyard. But then it was over their fence and around the block. And then it was through our daughter's window, and then our son's window, and then the kitchen window, and then the laundry window. And then finally, she learned how to open the front door. I'm not kidding. She figured out that if you pushed hard enough on the front door handle, that it would disengage the deadbolt. And then she would escape into the neighborhoods surrounding our houses and have to be brought back time and time again. Over the next few months, we tried everything we could. We tried everything we could. We tried medication, we tried behavioral therapy with a specialist, multiple trips to the vet to repair broken teeth and damaged paws from the jumping and the escaping. And so it went. We did our very best. And then we ran into someone one day that had known Layla from her previous life who told us that this escaping had been a chronic problem and that they had decided to give up Layla previously on their own because of the escaping. They also told us that part of the reason that Layla escaped so much was that she had been rescued from a previously abusive situation prior to this owner's loving of her. So we did everything we could to surround Layla with love and with kindness. She loved the beach. She loved going on walks. She loved being with our children. But unfortunately, that trauma eventually caught up with her. And eventually she escaped one time too many. But what I'd like to leave with, or what I like to notice about Layla, is through all of that, through all of the abuse that she endured before she came to our home, she remained that heart of kindness. She was never harsh with us. She was certainly afraid, but she was never harsh. She never nipped or bit. She never took it out on other people. She turned all of that trauma into kindness. And she walked that path of kindness every day of her life. And she made the best of it, no matter what. And to me, that is one of the biggest blessings of her life. And one of the biggest blessings that can come from having animals is that sense of knowing how to turn whatever it is that is present in our life, no matter what trauma or anger or sadness or grief that is coming into our life. We have that moment, that choice, and that choice that can become choice after choice after choice to return to the world, not anger, but kindness, not in spite of what is happening to us, but because we determine that that is the response that we choose to have for ourselves and for our families and for our beloved community. And so I invite you now to imagine for yourself, what is the kindness that you have observed, perhaps from an animal previously in your life or currently in your life? And what can that animal begin again to remind you of about how you wish to be in the world? Layla was with us for 2.5 years, and I remain humbled by the gift that she gave to me in learning about what kindness really means, about how it really matters, because it is a reflection of the pureness of our hearts when we respond to the world with kindness, no matter what. May it be so. May you be blessed. And may those little furry creatures on your laps and next to you right now, may they also be blessed. May we collectively say, bless you, the way that Rob did in his story this morning, and be reminded that we too are loved and we too are a blessing upon the world. Amen. Let us sing now our final hymn, number 1054, Let This Be a House of Peace.
Let this be a house of peace, of nature and humanity, of sorrow and elation. Let this be our house.
It's just beautiful. I don't think I've ever heard that song sung before, and we're gonna have to come back to that one more here, I think. Really appreciate John and all the work that he's put into this already. Just jumping right in. Anyway, let us now extinguish our communal chalice. You are invited to unmute yourselves, stand if you wish, and say our chalice extinguishing words together. We have put the words in the chat box if you'd like to follow along. Say with me. Extinguish this chalice, but not for the light of truth or the energy of action. We hold
each other in our hearts until we end.
And hear now the benediction. May you go forth from this place, whether you are of 2 feet, 4 feet, or no feet at all. May you fly like a bird. May you soar to new heights. May you dive to the depth of your soul and bring up joy. May you find the weariness of your heart is met with the solidness of the trees, with the lifting of the wind, and with that soft animal body of yours. May you be reminded of your creatureliness. Go forth and enjoy. Be good to one another and be a blessing upon the world. May it be so, and amen. We'll take a short break, and then those who would like to stay for social hour are invited to do so.